Every 40 seconds, someone in the United States has a stroke. Every 3.5 minutes, someone dies from one. And for adults over 60, the risk doesn't just rise, it doubles, even for people who feel perfectly healthy. Behind those numbers are mothers, fathers, friends, people who never saw it coming. I still remember one of my patients, John, 68 years old, retired teacher, walked every morning, never smoked. He came to me one day because his hand felt a little weak. Just for a few minutes. He ignored it. 2 weeks later, he had a major stroke. He survived, but his speech never fully returned. That's why I always say, stroke rarely comes out of nowhere. Your body sends you signals long before it strikes. As we age, our arteries change. Blood pressure creeps up. Plaque forms silently inside our vessels. The heart may skip a beat here and there, and tiny clots begin to form, sometimes traveling to the brain. The result is what we call a brain attack. Just like a heart attack blocks the heart, a stroke blocks the brain. But here's the hopeful part. Stroke is largely preventable, and prevention starts with understanding why it happens. For over 20 years, I've helped patients recover from stroke, and more importantly, learn how to avoid one. Today, I want to show you the truth about why seniors are at higher risk, and what you can do right now to protect your brain. Because understanding the why behind stroke changes everything. How you eat, how you move, how you monitor your health. And you don't need to be a doctor to take control. You just need to understand your body and listen to it. Your brain depends on a constant supply of oxygen-rich blood. When a clot blocks that flow, even for a few minutes, brain cells begin to die. That's why strokes can steal speech, movement, or memory so quickly. But there is something even more powerful than treatment. Prevention, and that starts with awareness. Your blood pressure, your heart rhythm, your daily habits, they all send you messages about your stroke risk. The key is learning to read them before it's too late. So in this series, we'll break down everything you need to know: why stroke risk rises with age, how to spot the early warning signs, and what simple habits can keep your brain healthy for life. Because understanding the why behind stroke is the first step to preventing it. In part 1, we saw how stroke rarely comes out of nowhere. Now let's go inside the body to see why aging changes your circulation and how those changes can quietly raise your stroke risk. As we age, our arteries stiffen. Think of them like a garden hose that's brand new, soft and flexible when you're young. Over time, that hose loses its stretch, it hardens. When arteries lose elasticity, they can't expand easily with each heartbeat. Soft, so every pulse creates more pressure on your vessel walls. That's why even a blood pressure that looked normal in your 30s can become dangerous in your 60s. This steady pressure slowly wears down the lining of your arteries, the same way constant water pressure weakens a pipe. And over time, that's where the real trouble begins. When the inner walls of your arteries are damaged, fat, cholesterol, and inflammatory cells begin to stick, forming plaque. Plaque buildup narrows your arteries, limiting blood flow to your brain and heart. Sometimes a piece of that plaque can break off, travel upward, and block a small brain vessel. That's when a stroke happens. But don't panic. This process takes years, and with the right habits, you can slow it down or even reverse some of the damage. Now let's talk about the heart's rhythm. Your heart works like an orchestra. Every beat perfectly timed. But as we age, that rhythm can sometimes go off beat. This is called atrial fibrillation, or AFib. When the top chambers of the heart quiver instead of squeezing, blood doesn't move as smoothly. It can pool, form a clot, and that clot can travel directly to your brain. AFib increases stroke risk 5-fold, and many people don't even know they have it. That's why regular checkups and pulse monitoring are so important after 60. One skipped beat can be your body whispering for attention. As we age, our blood becomes slightly thicker. It's part of the body's normal response to dehydration, inflammation, or slower metabolism. Thicker blood means slower flow and a higher chance of forming small clots. Especially if you sit for long hours, don't drink enough water, or have conditions like diabetes or high cholesterol. Hydration and movement are your two best medicines for this. They keep your blood smooth, your pressure steady, and your brain sharp. The good news is your brain is incredibly resilient. It's designed with backup systems, small arteries that reroute blood when one path is blocked. When you give your brain steady blood pressure, oxygen, and nutrients, it can recover, adapt, and even grow new connections. So aging itself isn't the enemy, it's neglect. When you care for your circulation, your brain will care for you. So now you understand how aging reshapes your brain and blood vessels and why the pressure builds over time. Next, let's uncover the 4 hidden triggers that make seniors more vulnerable to stroke and how to stop them before they start. In part 2, we saw how aging changes our blood vessels and brain. Now let's go deeper into the hidden triggers that quietly raise stroke risk for millions of seniors. These aren't sudden events. They're slow processes that build over years without pain or warning. The number one cause of stroke is high blood pressure. We call it the silent destroyer because it rarely hurts until it's too late. Each heartbeat pushes blood through delicate vessels in your brain. When the pressure stays too high for too long, those vessels weaken, bulge, or burst, causing a stroke. The fix? Keep your blood pressure steady. Monitor it at least once a week. Cut sodium and processed foods. Stay hydrated. And find simple ways to manage stress. Even a small drop, 10 points on the systolic side, can cut your stroke risk by half. Your heart is the pump that feeds your brain. When its rhythm goes off beat, a condition called atrial fibrillation, blood can pool and form clots. If one of those clots travels to your brain, it can block a vessel in seconds, causing an ischemic stroke. The fix? If you ever feel your heart flutter or race unexpectedly, see your doctor. They can check your rhythm with an EKG and, if needed, prescribe medications to control it and thin your blood safely. AFib is common after 60, but treatable when caught early. When your blood sugar runs too high too often, it damages the small vessels that feed your brain and nerves. Sugar is sticky. It clings to proteins in your arteries and makes them stiff and fragile. Over time, this process, called glycation, creates inflammation and accelerates plaque buildup. The fix: keep your blood sugar steady. Eat slow carbs like oats, beans, and whole grains. Add protein and fiber to each meal, and move for at least 10 minutes after eating. That's when your body burns sugar most efficiently. Diabetes doesn't have to lead to stroke, but it will if you ignore it. Most people blame cholesterol alone for stroke, but cholesterol isn't the enemy. Inflammation is what turns cholesterol into danger. When artery walls are inflamed from poor diet, stress, or lack of sleep, cholesterol sticks to those rough spots like a bandage on a wound. That's how plaque starts to grow. The fix? Focus on anti-inflammatory living. Eat greens and berries daily. Add omega-3 fats from fish or flax. Sleep 7 to 8 hours. Manage stress. Even a 10-minute walk or breathing break helps. Plaque forms in inflammation, not in peace. Stroke isn't random. It's the result of these quiet processes building over years. The moment you start controlling them, blood pressure, rhythm, sugar, and inflammation, you begin rewriting your future. Next, let's talk about the signs your body gives you before a stroke, the ones too many people ignore until it's too late. The biggest tragedy is not missing treatment, it's missing the warning signs. Because when it comes to stroke, your body does speak to you, but only if you know how to listen. The early signs of stroke can be subtle, and they often come suddenly. Sudden numbness or weakness, especially on one side of the face, arm, or leg. Slurred speech, or words that don't come out right. Blurred or double vision, as if the world tilts for a moment. Loss of balance, dizziness, or staggering. Or a sudden, severe headache, what many call the worst headache of their life. Even if these last only a few minutes and then fade away, don't ignore them. Many seniors experience what's called a mini-stroke, or TIA, a transient ischemic attack. It's when a small clot blocks blood flow briefly, then dissolves on its own. But here's the danger. A TIA is your brain's warning shot. About 1 in 3 people who have a mini-stroke will have a full stroke within a year, often within just days. So if you ever feel something is off, weakness, confusion, blurred vision, don't wait to see if it passes. Get help immediately. In a stroke, every minute counts. Each minute, your brain loses nearly 2 million cells. If you ever notice these symptoms, even for a few moments, call 911 immediately. Don't drive yourself. Don't wait for it to get better. The difference between walking out of the hospital and never walking again can be just a few minutes. When in doubt, remember one simple test. Fast. It could save your life or someone you love. Face. Ask them to smile. Is one side drooping? A. Arm. Ask them to raise both arms. Does one drift downward? S. Speech. Ask them to say a simple phrase. Is it slurred or strange? T. Time. If you see any of these signs, time to call on 911. These 4 letters are powerful. They turn fear into action, confusion into control. One of my patients, Linda, recognized her husband's slurred speech right away. She called 911 within minutes. He got treatment in time and fully recovered. That's the power of awareness. She didn't just save his speech, she saved his life. So now you know what your body might whisper before a stroke and how to respond when it does. Next, let's talk about what you can control every single day, the foods, habits, and routines that protect your brain and circulation for life. Stroke prevention doesn't begin in your medicine cabinet, it begins in your kitchen. The truth is, every meal and every habit you choose is a form of medicine, either healing your arteries or slowly harming them. High blood pressure is the #1 preventable cause of stroke, and the biggest driver of high pressure, too much sodium. Try this. Replace salt with herbs, lemon, or garlic. Each pinch you skip gives your arteries more room to breathe. And balance it with potassium-rich foods, bananas, spinach, sweet potatoes, beans. Potassium helps your body flush out extra sodium and relax blood vessel walls. Think of it as nature's blood pressure medicine, built right into your food. Your arteries are like rivers. They need movement to stay clear. Even just 30 minutes of walking a day improves circulation, strengthens the heart, and lowers stroke risk by up to 30%. And you don't have to run marathons. Brisk walking, swimming, gardening, even dancing to your favorite song counts. Movement is medicine, and it's free. Let's talk about what your brain loves most, nutrition that nourishes circulation. Oats help lower cholesterol and stabilize blood sugar. Leafy greens packed with nitrates and magnesium for blood pressure. Beets increase nitric oxide for better flow. Avocados provide healthy fats that support brain function. Berries, antioxidants that protect your neurons. Olive oil and fish, rich in omega-3s to reduce inflammation. When you fill your plate with color, you fill your arteries with life. That's what I call brain-smart eating. Many seniors live in a constant state of mild dehydration and don't realize it. When you don't drink enough water, your blood becomes thicker, your heart works harder, and clot risk increases. So aim for 6 to 8 glasses a day. Water keeps your blood flowing smoothly. It's the simplest stroke prevention there is. Your brain heals while you sleep. Good rest lowers blood pressure, balances hormones, and clears waste from brain cells. Stress, on the other hand, raises pressure, thickens blood, and keeps your body in a constant fight or flight mode. Try deep breathing before bed. Keep a calm evening routine. Protect your sleep as much as your heart. And yes, avoid smoking and limit alcohol. They age your arteries faster than time ever could. Every small choice, every meal, every walk, every glass of water rewires your blood vessels for protection. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Because your arteries respond to what you do every day, not what you do once in a while. When you take care of your circulation, your brain thanks you with clarity, strength, and time. Finally, let's bring it all together with a simple system to help you remember how to protect your brain every single day. Over the last few episodes, you've learned what causes stroke, how to spot the warnings, and how to prevent it through daily habits. Now let's bring it all together into one clear, powerful system. Here's my simple formula for lifelong brain health and stroke prevention. Your pressure is your first line of defense. Check it weekly, at home or at the clinic. Stay under 120/80 if possible. Every point higher increases vessel stress. Every point lower adds years to your brain's life. Your heartbeat tells a story. An irregular rhythm, a flutter or pause, can signal atrial fibrillation, a major stroke risk. Check your pulse each morning. If it skips or races, get it checked. The earlier you catch it, the more you can control it. Your plate is your medicine cabinet. Each color on it protects a different part of your brain. Greens lower pressure, berries fight inflammation, fish and olive oil strengthen neurons. If you build your plate right, you build your future. Your brain listens to your emotions. Chronic stress raises pressure, thickens blood, and narrows vessels. Peace is not a luxury, it's therapy. 10 minutes of calm a day can undo hours of tension. Knowledge isn't enough. Practice turns it into protection. Check your pressure, eat your colors, move your body, rest your mind. Repeat. Every day. When you follow these 5, you don't just prevent stroke, you build a younger brain from the inside out. Remember, stroke risk rises with age, but it's not inevitable. Your arteries can heal. Your brain can stay sharp. You can still learn, move, and love with clarity and strength. I've seen patients in their 70s and 80s reverse their numbers, restore their memory, and walk out smiling again. Healing is possible at any age. The secret is consistency, a steady heart, a colorful plate, a peaceful mind. If this helped you, please like, subscribe, and share this video because someone you know might need this information today. Together, we can protect more brains, one heart at a time. Thank you for watching. Take care, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next video.